Liverpool's unbeaten start to the season is over. Crystal Palace, of all teams, bringing it to an end with what was a very, very dramatic last-minute winner, but honestly, on the basis of the whole game, deserved, I would say. I mean, it was a game of two halves. Liverpool in the second half, much, much better than they were in the first. Because in the first, genuinely, I believe Crystal Palace could have walked away from that 5-0 up going into the interval. I seriously believe that. 5-0. Mateta ran Konate ragged. Ismaila Sarr running the channels. Crystal Palace putting chances on a plate. And Alisson coming to the rescue time and time again. The post coming to the rescue for Liverpool. Last minute misses. It was ridiculous what we were watching in the first half, and you almost got the impression that even though Palace were 1-0 up, was this going to be another one of those games where Liverpool maybe didn't play at their best, but rode their luck throughout the game and then hit Palace late at the end. And ultimately, right at the death when Chiesa grabs what we thought was the equalizer, you're almost getting the impression, here we go again. Liverpool have done it again. But justice was served, because that Chiesa goal should never, ever have stood. I need to see a real clear replay of this. Because on my naked eye, from the replays I've seen, Mohamed Salah plays volleyball with that football. He plays volleyball midair, spikes it. That hits his head. I'm sorry, I need to see another angle. Because some people are trying to tell me that, nah, it didn't change direction. VAR didn't show the best angle. I'm thinking to myself, am I being gaslighted here? Like, the angle I'm looking at, it hits Salah's hand. Every angle I'm looking at, it looks like it hits Salah's hand. So I need to see a clear angle. VAR, PGM will have to come out and explain that one to me, because on the naked eye, that looks like as clear a handball as you can get. And yet they gave that goal for Chiesa. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, are Liverpool actually going to go run away with this? Like, I'm not of the opinion Liverpool have just like got lucky this season. Like, yes, they've let leads dropped, but they've shown tremendous resilience and real quality to continuously come back and grab late winners. But this game, if Liverpool had gotten anything out of this game, in my opinion, it would have been so unwarranted. Because on the basis of 90 minutes, Palace were the superior team. Now, in the second half, look, Salah finds opportunities. He probably should have grabbed one. I mean, he definitely should have grabbed one. Wirtz should have grabbed one as well, too. But I'm sorry. Over 90 minutes, Crystal Palace were that first half, guys, has to be cause for concern for Liverpool, man, because they were so clearly inferior to Palace. So clearly inferior. And massive credit to Palace, right? Because everything today is going to be about Liverpool and they finally dropping points and the Salah. But Crystal Palace are second in the league right now. Granted, there's other teams that need to play tomorrow, but Crystal Palace, after 6 games, are second. Second! They lost their best player over the summer in Eberechi Eze. And they are second in the league, 3 points behind first. Massive, massive credit to them. But I think today, if you're looking at it from a Liverpool point of view, I think their lack of control at times and their weakness on transition defending fully came under scrutiny today. Other games, it hasn't been punished. But today, look, the chickens came home to roost. I think there have been causes for concern with Liverpool this season. I think at times it has been a little over-exaggerated because, like I said, they haven't been behind at any point this season. They are mostly just letting leads slip and then recovering them. But today, seriously, at 0-0, it looked like Liverpool could have conceded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals. And only real brilliance from Alisson probably stopped them from doing so. I think Konate, we really got to have a conversation on this guy, because I think Konate is a top defender. But almost ever since these Real Madrid links have sprouted out, I do feel like at the moment it looks like it's kind of got to his head. It looks like he's a guy playing with his future in doubt, because some of the mistakes he's made throughout this season after such a good campaign last year, those aren't the mistakes that a top defender makes. And Van Dijk is saving him at times. So look, Mateta gave him the runaround today. Mateta at times, man, is moving like Didier Drogba. I mean, seriously, this guy, is there a better center forward in the league at turning terrible punts up the pitch into like good balls, because of how good he is at controlling and how good he is at almost just like holding off defenders and bringing others into play? You can just punt the ball up long and Mateta will almost find a way of cushioning it down and turning it into a decent pass that he can eventually play out to Munoz or lay off to Kamada or send through Ismaila Sarr. He is an absolute battering ram of a center forward, but also so intelligent with his actions as well too. Mateta's really turning into one of the best center forwards in the league right now. And on a different day, he probably walks away from this game with 2 or maybe even 3, man. I mean, that volley with his left in the first half was crazy. That shot off the post from outside the box, ridiculous. This was a guy at one point that looked like the worst center forward in the Premier League. And since Glasner's come in, wow, he's one of the most feared strikers in the game. It's ridiculous. I think a lot of talk is going to be made about Florian Wirtz again. And look, it's not great. I mean, it's another game where he has pretty little impact, pretty minimal impact, and he does get taken off while Liverpool are chasing a game. That's not a good look for a player that expensive. But seriously, the player I want to talk about today is Mohamed Salah, because he's the experienced guy. He's the reigning PFA player of the season. He's the guy who understands Liverpool, who understands the system, who doesn't need to accommodate or adjust to the league. That's Wirtz. And that's not an excuse for Wirtz, but Wirtz has more reason for struggling, in my opinion, than Salah does. At the moment, guys, I'm not sure what it's going to take for Mohamed Salah to be substituted in these games. Obviously, I understand he's got a lot of credit in the bank, and you don't take off players that you know have the potential to score you goals and win you games. Salah clearly has that. But the way Salah is playing right now is a rough sight to behold, man. If I'm being honest, the way Salah has played this season is probably the worst I've seen him since he joined Liverpool. He looks rough out there. And the thing with Salah at the moment is not only is he just losing the ball in stupid areas, but it's his production. Like those passes that he usually plays that almost always end up finding teammates are always off. It's not like he's getting himself in positions to score anymore. At the moment, Salah is kind of getting by in games because of his name. Now, the question is why? Is it a case of Father Time has eventually caught up to him? I don't really think so. I don't. I think it's more so a case of because Liverpool have added so much to this team in terms of quality, I almost feel like Arne Slot is trying to fit everybody in right now, and other people are kind of losing out on their best game because of it. For example, I mean Gakpo, right, who was such a big player in this team last season, is now effectively first man off the bench because you want to fit Wirtz in. Isak is in the team now. Once Nketiah comes in, I'm sure they're going to try and play the two of them together. And all of a sudden, Gakpo, who first and foremost is a great player anyways, but also is the only natural wide winger they have in this team on the left, is now out of the side. You looked at it similar with Szoboszlai, right, who played out at points this season as a right back, because you want to get him in the team, but the midfield is so overcrowded now because you have so many different options. I feel like Salah, the whole team was almost built for him to play at his maximum capacity last season. Everything is organized and built so that Salah can receive the ball in the positions he loves to pick them up in, and when he receives it, he's 2 to 3 touches away from either playing a killer pass or getting a shot off on goal that's almost going to always end up in a chance. This season, I almost feel like he's playing further away from goal, both in terms of how wide he is, how deep he is. You're not really getting to see Salah at this current point in his career have the opportunity to play the way we know Mohamed Salah did last season. Because right now, guys, seriously, if his name was not Salah, he would not be finishing 60 minutes in these games. It is a little concerning. And you have to think, like, eventually, Slot is going to have to be forced into decisions, tough decisions, if the other players that he's trying to fit in right now don't continue playing. Because at the end of the day, you know what Salah can contribute in this team when everything is suited for him. We're not so sure about that with Wirtz and Isak yet. Obviously, the hope for Liverpool has to be that they can get their feet going very, very quickly. But at the moment, they are kind of just being forced into the team because they're great players and because you spent a lot of money on it. And other guys are almost bearing the brunt of the outcome of that. You guys understand what I'm trying to say here? Now, the second half, Liverpool definitely played a lot better. Don't get it twisted. They could have scored a few goals today. I think in the second half, they were probably the superior team, but I don't think that counterbalances how inferior they were in those first 45 minutes. I mean, Palace, man, they were a team that after the first week, I think I said, I believe even if Eze leaves this team, this side will be very, very competitive, because as good as Eze is, he was almost just kind of like the X factor for the team, but they are good because of the system. And this is why I continue kind of comparing Glasner and Amram and their three at the backs to say system does not equal formation. The problem with Amram is not that he plays three at the back, it's the way he deploys it. And the biggest example of that is Glasner and the way he deploys his three at the back. These guys are so well drilled and so comfortable in this setup. It's ridiculous. Everybody knows their role to a T. And therefore, when you lose a player like Eze, it's kind of just plug and place with someone like Yeremy Pino, who I'm not trying to say is as good as Eze as an individual, but because the setup is so good from Glasner, you don't really feel it as much when you go like for like. I would have felt the same way if they had lost Guehi. As long as you replace him with like a respectable level player in terms of quality, I don't think Palace would have fell off a million miles. And the proof is in the pudding this season. No Eze, no real problem, man. It's just kind of next man up. They are such a ridiculously well-drilled outfit right now. And I think what you're seeing from Palace to end last season with the FA Cup, then the Community Shield this year, and how they've started this campaign, wow. Everybody deserves massive credit, but in my opinion, No one more so than Oliver Glasner. This guy has dealt with so much, man. Honestly, he's lost Olise in his first season. He lost Eze this summer. He almost lost Gehi. He was basically in the middle of that entire saga on deadline day. And yet, this guy just continues churning out results week in, week out. And what I really like about Glasner, guys, is there's no drama with him. There is no drama whatsoever. He just gets about his business. Never like saying crazy things in interviews. He's never blaming anybody. He's a very straight-nosed cat, man. Honestly, he just tells you it as it is, and he goes into every game, never gets too high, never gets too low. Even at the end, he's doing a celebration, but you're not seeing him act the fool. I really admire Oliver Glasner, and similar to what I've said about Iraola, I look at those two as the next managers up in case a bigger side, not just in the Premier League, but around Europe, sacks their manager. I think those are the two managers right now in the Prem that most big sides around Europe will kind of be looking at and thinking to themselves, I think their football can make the step up to the elite level or to the aspiring elite level. He's done such a ridiculous job of Crystal Palace, who for years looked like the biggest underachievers in the Premier League, perennially 13th place or around there every single season. Under Glasner, these guys can actually dream of doing something, and it's because of the football he plays. It's because of his setup. So I give them so much credit, and today I think they are fully deserving winners. That last-minute winner from Nketiah, first of all, limbs, scenes, but nothing less than they deserve. Now, for Liverpool, is it cause for concern? Look, it's a bad performance in terms of the first half, and on the basis of the game, I don't think they deserve to win. And I think a few players now, we got to start having conversations eventually, because there's a lot of money invested in this team, and you can only kind of have patience for these guys for so long. That's not me saying these guys are bad players or whatever, but they got to get clicking eventually, man. Like, you can't have passengers at this level. But it's not the end of the world. It's one loss. It's one loss. Let's see how they bounce back as well, too. And I believe that they will, because Liverpool, you tend to kind of see when they do lose a game, the next game under Arne Slot, it's like, okay, let's just get back to their level. But I'm looking at a few of these guys and thinking to myself, come on, man. Like, we're 6-7 games into the season now. It's time to show up. It's time to show up. The Premier League, man, once it kind of gets going, it doesn't stop. And around 7, 8, 9, 10 games, that's when I feel like the Premier League really, really picks up pace. And if you're not kind of up to scratch by that point, there's a real danger that you almost kind of get left behind. However, I still think they are the team to beat in this league. And now it's all eyes over to Arsenal tomorrow, who play Newcastle. Huge game. And I was kind of saying before the weekend that if Arsenal lost to Newcastle or failed to beat Newcastle and Liverpool beat Crystal Palace, the gap that's building between Liverpool and Arsenal might start to get real scary in terms of, can Arsenal realistically continue to keep the pace with this team? But the events of today really give Arsenal a huge opportunity to cut the gap down to 2. And all of a sudden, we've criticized them for the way they set up against City. People have criticized them for the way they set up against Liverpool. But after probably the toughest fixture list in the Premier League so far, they'll have only been 2 points behind them. I think that would be massive. Now, it's easier said than done, because we know, first and foremost, Newcastle at St. James's Park is difficult for anybody, but especially for Arsenal, that's their bogey team. But I think with this result in their minds, they will be going there with extra motivation. And I think that makes that fixture even more enticing. But seriously, the last thing I'm going to say, I'm going to repeat it again. I need to see a better angle of that Salah handball. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everybody is looking at that angle and he didn't actually handball it. But I feel like we need complete clarity for the situation. Because if what I saw is true, if that's actually a handball from Salah and VAR didn't give it, guys, people are saying, oh, he got pushed. Then it should be a penalty. If he got pushed, then it should be a penalty. If he handballs the ball in that situation, there is no way that VAR can't interfere. Surely not. I can't believe that. I'm really either hoping that I'm misseeing things or there's an alternate explanation. I think this is one of those situations where PGMOL has to release a statement and explain their decision, because I think most of the footballing world is baffled that Liverpool got away with that goal. Let's see how it goes. But anyways, guys, like, share, subscribe. I was watching the Real Madrid Atletico game at the same time. I'm going to make a video on that in a second as well, too. So stay tuned for that if you are a La Liga fan. And yeah, keep supporting. We'll be back very, very soon. Peace.